team at Simple Germany, what advice would you give people in finding somewhere to live?
Pretty much to treat the apartment hunt exactly the way you treated the job hunt. It is also the same situation. There is scarcity in terms of apartments, maybe even less than actually job opportunities at the current market trend here in Germany, I would say. And you just need to be really on top of your game. You need to hustle, you need to be prepared, and you need to be fast, especially fast. And I would say it's maybe the easiest way to find a short-term, or let's say not the dream apartment you would like to have as your first place to live, but just really look for something that suits for maybe the first half year or so. And then once you're here, you can get to know the neighborhoods, you can settle in a bit more smoothly, and then really look for a place that is maybe a bit more long-term, also with the necessary paperwork that most often landlords want to see, which you won't have if you have not lived in Germany yet.
Yeah, and very important is to also treat, if you're going to view an apartment, to really treat it as a job interview, because of course the landlords or the people renting out the apartments get an impression of who you are and how you're gonna like behave kind of like in the place. So it's very important to like show up like, you know, well dressed, not overly dressed, but like actually well dressed, and give a good impression, right? Like be respectful, not treat it as your buddy or your best friend, similar to how you do a job interview pretty much. Another thing, like how we mentioned, if it's very common that the apartments don't have a kitchen, so that is another thing that you might need to like consider when looking for an apartment. There are some that already have a kitchen included, but again, like usually what Germans do, they move into the apartment or house, and then usually kitchens, depends on where you order it, it takes some time, so they also set up like a temporary kitchen with some camping gear while they're waiting for this stuff to happen. Just for you to know that that can happen, and it's not unnormal for it to happen. And another thing, if you're moving and you're not with the family, a very popular option is to first search for a shared apartment. It's called WG. Again, in our guide that we're going to send after the call, you'll be able to find all these links, and there you can find shared apartments a lot easier as a temporary means before you can go ahead, if you want to live alone later, to find an apartment like that.
So you really need to make an effort when you're meeting these landlords as well. Be mindful that how you connect with that person is possibly going to make it much easier or much more harder.
Exactly.
If you can land your
I think what helps to understand is that the Germany is a rental country, so the majority of Germans rent and don't own property. And the German laws in terms of tenants and rental contract is very tenant friendly, meaning that if you as a landlord pretty much accept a tenant, it's very difficult to get rid of the tenant for whatever reason. They don't, you don't like them anymore, or they don't treat your property well. So they're very, very selective in who do they want to live in the house.
Okay, that makes, well, you can understand why they would be so selective then.